Okay, in this segment we're going to go through the process of creating a new SOLOForest project and importing the layers that we have downloaded from the internet and also created in FGIS. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Start menu on the handheld and we're going to open up SOLOForest. Okay, and you should see a screen something like this popping up. Okay, I don't have my GPS receiver connected, so you may get that message. Okay, now at this point you can do one of these four things: open the last project, open an existing, create a new one, or exit. I would recommend that if you haven't already created a project in Solo using these base map layers, that you create a new project. Okay, do not use the default file name. Simply double tap in the name field right here. It'll highlight everything in blue. Now whatever you type in from the keypad will replace that name and give it a more meaningful name. So I'm going to call this project Empire. Okay, and I'll hit OK. Okay, this will bring me to the project settings. The main thing I'm concerned with is on the General tab, position display, northern, easting, distance units, meters. On the Zone tab, coordinate system UTM, horizontal date on NAD 1983, and the zone, whichever zone, UTM zone you happen to be in. Okay, checking these settings will just ensure that your base map layers line up correctly. So I'm just going to hit OK right here, and this will take me to just the blank map screen. Okay, I don't have any layers loaded at this point. Now to get my topo and aerial and boundary shapefile on the screen, all I've got to do is come down to View. I'm going to go to Map Layers, and by default you have these three map layers on every project. Okay, so we're going to add to these. Alright, we're going to hit the Add Layer button, very similar to what we clicked in FGIS, if you remember. We're going to click on that, and we're going to navigate to the folder where we have our base map stored. Okay, so you may have to hit the up arrow, and we're going to look inside the I'll tell you what, I'll scroll up one more layer. We're going to look inside the My Documents folder, and I'm going to open up the Base Maps folder. Okay, inside here I've got to open up the Empire folder to see my individual layers. Okay, now it's only showing me two of the three layers that I had in there. The reason for that is because it's only showing me the type that's listed in this drop down list. Okay, this happens to be, both of these are GeoTIFF images. Okay, if you want to be able to find the ArcView shapefile that I created the boundary in, you can click on ArcView shapefile. It'll show you the boundary. So I'm going to go ahead and load the boundary first. So just double click on it. You'll see that it loads it in as the fourth layer. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit the Add Layer button, and I'm going to go back to GeoTIFF image, and I'm going to grab both of these. I have to add them one at a time, so I'm going to double click on the first one. It adds it to the list. I'm going to go back, click on the second one. It'll add it to the list as well. Likewise, you could just select it and hit OK. It would do the same thing. It'll add it to the list of layers. Okay, at this point I can OK out of this screen by hitting the OK here or there. Doesn't matter which. You get a message like this whenever you've got a shapefile loaded. Just hit skip. And do you want to save the configuration file? Hit yes and choose the default name. That'll be fine. Hit OK. Alright, now you may have to hit OK on that little screen too. Now we're back in the main map screen. I'm going to hit the zoom to everything button so it'll show me all of our layers. It may take a second to load. Okay, now I can tell I see my boundary right here and I see the topo on top, but I actually want my aerial photo showing, and apparently my topo is covering it up. So the one way to get that to display is go back to View and go to Map Layers, and just like in FGIS and some other mapping programs, you can determine whether a layer is visible or not simply by checking or unchecking these boxes underneath the little eyeball right there. Okay, so either I could uncheck this layer, which is the topo, so that the aerial would show through, or I could leave both of them turned on, select the aerial, which is that one, and hit the up arrow to adjust the order. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to adjust the order. We'll hit skip again, and now we should see the photo showing up on top. So I'm going to grab my little zoom window, just like in FGIS, tap and hold and drag a little window, and that will allow us to zoom in on the particular polygon. Now, maybe you don't like the black band around the boundary. It obviously did not carry over the same symbology that we had in FGIS, but we can adjust this in Solo as well. So we're going to go to the View menu, going to go back to Map Layers. I'm going to double tap on the boundary layer to bring up the properties, and I'm going to come over to the Display tab, and I'm going to change the color on here. I think red shows up pretty well on a color photo, so I'm going to click on the red symbol, and I'm going to bump the line width up to a width of 2. I'll hit OK, and OK again, and we get to hit skip. This time I'm going to hit don't show me this dialog again, so I don't have to keep hitting skip. Okay, and now you should see that the boundary changes colors. Okay, so that's just the process of loading base map imagery into Solo. We'll go in another session. We'll go over the process of actually collecting some data.